Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. Okay, what's going on, guys? This is Rob, and we're continuing DCeased. And in this one, we are picking up with part 5, or whatever part this happens to be, but the DCeased Dead Planet event, right? So, in this video, we pick up with John Constantine and Dr. Fate while they are heading into, or really just Constantine heading into one of the doors of the Tower of Fate. And the funny thing about this is that he actually won't let Dr. Fate in, right? Because it's kind of like, this door's closed. It's a private meeting, home slice. You gotta stay out here. And so once he actually gets inside, you know, because there's not really a doorknob readily available for Dr. Fate to use, Constantine kind of spawns one, goes inside, and then shuts it, and of course the doorknob vanishes. But we end up finding out inside this room is Etrigan. And Etrigan, of course, always speaking in rhymes, kind of follows up with the previous discussion they had about Trigon coming to Earth. And that when Constantine kind of asked for an update here, right? Like, what's the update? Like, how long until Trigon gets here? The response of Etrigan is, you have 3 days. You have 3 days until Trigon makes his move and he comes to Earth. And so it's kind of like, okay. Now, the other part of this is that the green that's being used by, you know, the ultra wealthy and powerful in order to spawn, you know, vegetables and things like that is still kind of pissing off Swamp Thing, right? So that needs to be dealt with. But the immediate threat, as far as Constantine is concerned, is to focus on essentially taking out Trigon, or at least trying to find some way to defeat Trigon, which is a tall order, even for the most powerful of beings inside of DC Comics, let alone just John Constantine, right? And so he takes the Cloak of Ragman, which, as we know, has the ability to absorb the souls of other people, and then leaves. From there, he basically assembles what is, for the most part, a strike team. And this strike team, of course, is more or less being led by Batman, by Damian Wayne, alongside Rose, the daughter of Deathstroke, in addition to Jason Todd and a few others. Now, the funny thing about this is that Rose and Jason Todd had actually gotten married. I don't like that this just kind of happened off panel. I think it would have been cool to actually see how Rose and Jason Todd really began to hit it off, how that romance really began to blossom, and how the two of them ended up getting married. It really kind of seemed to be Rose's clairvoyance that led to, like, okay, we're gonna get married because I saw it happening, so let's just do it now. And then they did. So I don't really know. But the important thing here is that what they end up doing is transitioning, you know, to Nanda Parbat, to basically, you know, well, really Constantine using the green to get there, and then of course the rest of them using a portal to access it. But with Nanda Parbat, you know, essentially the League of Assassins more or less being infected here, what you also have is just this colossal army. And the issue that you really have really kind of comes from Damian Wayne, which is really designed to sort of show how far he's come in the time that he took on the mantle of Batman versus when we first saw him, in the sense that he maintains the ideology of Bruce Wayne, that if there's a cure here, that we cannot kill these people, right? If there is a definitive cure, and that cure resides in the realm of the new gods, or whatever it is they have to do to get it, they can't kill everybody here, because technically they'd be killing people who could be saved. And so it's a bit murky here, because in my mind, I would be like, no, I mean, you could save them, but if you guys die, the world's gonna be destroyed by Trigon. And so it's like, hey, look, I'm sorry, all you innocent people, but our need is greater than yours. So you gotta die, right? I mean, we won't intentionally kill you, but if you run up on us and you get in our way, then we're gonna do you in. That's what I would do, but I'm also a little more hardcore, right? I mean, I'm a little more in the philosophical views that the ends do justify the means, depending on what the ends are, right? And so because of that, you end up seeing Rose, who basically, again, uses her kind of clairvoyance to sort of know where she needs to go in order to get to where they need to be, and then basically knocks on the door, and you end up being met by Boston Brand, by Deadman, right? He has, of course, the ability to possess the bodies of others. And so as he opens the door, the forces of Nanda Parbat come pouring out, and then of course start attacking all these undead people who were here, right? Basically kind of, you know, taking care of them, while Constantine heads inside Nanda Parbat, meets with Ramakrishna, and basically accesses the Spear of Destiny. Now, Ramakrishna is a being out there who represents karma, more or less, so she is in fact a literal goddess. And so killing her isn't necessarily something that can be done easily. The most powerful of beings out there can, but not everybody can, right? I mean, she is for the most part an immortal person. She could live on forever. But the Spear of Destiny is actually designed to kill a god, right? Now, it doesn't mean he could stab her once and then she's dead, but the problem with this is that she won't let him take it. This is very much like a holy figure, right? This is a holy thing, the Spear of Destiny. You can't just take it and walk away with it. It doesn't work that way. And so because of the fact that John Constantine knows this, he does the only thing that he can do. He stabs Ramakrishna and then takes the Spear of Destiny for himself. Now, like immediately after that, Deadman shows up like, my God, what did you do? Goes to attack Constantine, and Constantine absorbs Deadman into the Ragman cloak. So now Boston Brand is gone. gone, right? He's dead. He's effectively gone here. I mean, I guess not dead in the traditional sense, but by all standards of measurement is dead. Now, as far as Ramakrishna goes, she'll survive, right? I mean, she can't really be killed by that, but everybody's kind of pissed at Constantine. But his whole stance here is, look guys, Trigon's coming to Earth and he's going to kill us. We don't really have time to play this game of, but it's a mean thing to do, Constantine. It's just such a mean thing to do. We don't have time for that, right? Like, this is the time to put up or shut up. And your morals are going to be questioned here. If you can't handle that, leave, right? Like, this is not the time for wide-eyed naivety and the idea of, well, we can save everybody's life. It's a time to do what you got to do. So if you can't man up, then go play with the kiddies while the rest of us do what needs to be done, right? It's a time for men. It's a time for adults. It's a time for grown women to do what needs to be done in this situation. And so following that, they end up transitioning to the Rock of Eternity, which is amazing, right? They get through here. Of course, you got the 7 deadly sins, you know, all that kind of stuff. But as soon as they get in and as soon as they get to where they're supposed to be, they're immediately met by Freddie Freeman, right? By Captain Marvel Jr., who literally goes on a rampage and just starts attacking all of them. Now, in that process, you've also got the old wizard Shazam, who seems to be infected, or at the very least is just kind of living this terrible, horrible fate. And so what you end up having is Rose, who kills the old wizard Shazam by stabbing him through the head with a sword. When that happens, and you end up having like the staff of the old man, which is what they were there for, that Cassandra Cain is the one who picks it up, and Cassandra Cain becomes the new Shazam. Now, the funny thing about this is that with Freddie Freeman freaking out the way he is, her power is equal to his. But one of the things that we're immediately told here is that Freddie Freeman was just an orphan kid who got the power of Shazam. He's not a fighter. Cassandra Cain has been fighting her entire life, and she was trained by the single greatest fighter in the entirety of DC Comics. This is literally a girl born to kill. You know, who she was born and bred to kill anybody in her path. Her with the power of Shazam fighting off against Freddie Freeman, it wasn't even a contest. Freddie Freeman was dead before he even knew what happened. The problem with this is that when Freddie Freeman initially launched his attack, he immediately went for Jason Todd and crashed him into a wall. And when that happened, he killed Jason Todd, right? So Jason Todd is now dead, which totally sucks. And so once they all basically end up getting back there, of course, they bring Jason Todd's body. Batman freaks out and he's like, you know, this is ridiculous, right? Like you got Jason Todd killed here. But at the end of the day, it was a small price to pay to save the Earth, right? I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast. If these people out here really can be saved, then Jason Todd's death, while tragic, pales in comparison to the billions of lives out there that could be spared. It's simple utilitarianism. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And so what you end up getting is this kind of disembodied voice that tells John Constantine, you deserve that, right? You deserve to get punched in the face the way that you did by Batman because of what you've done. And we end up finding out this voice is coming from Jim Corrigan. This voice is coming directly from the Spectre. And when you have Constantine talking to him, the Spectre is the ghost of wrath, thinks I deserve to be punched in the face. Huge deal. And he basically tells him, like, you're holding an object that could end even me, right? That's concerning. And I can stop you from what you're doing, Constantine. And Constantine's response is, you could, right? You're the spirit of vengeance. You could kill me and everybody here. But ask yourself this question. If I would go to these lengths to attain weapons that could kill gods, don't you think there's a reason why? And Corrigan kind of looks at him for a second and says, yeah, you're right, and then leaves. That's kind of the funny thing here. And this is something that I actually like about what's going on with DCeased Dead Planet. Technically, Jim Corrigan could just purify the Earth, right? And just be done with it. He could purify all these people, he could kill them all, and their souls would pass on to Trigon's realm, and Trigon wouldn't really have any reason to invade Earth anymore, right? It could all just be ended by Spectre. But it's cool that he's not. It's cool that this is not being invoked by DC, because it would be lazy, and it would be an easy way out. It would be super lazy if he's like wipes his hand, and everybody's dead. Done. Day saved. Thanks, Jim Corrigan. Let's meet up for beers and hot dogs. You know, and that's it, right? It would just be kind of lame, right? It would be pretty lame. But I love what DC's doing here. Now, if I'm a betting man, I think Jim Corrigan is going to have a much bigger role to play in the events of DCeased. But for now, it's cool to see that he's not being used as an easy way out. With that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like. Now we'll catch you all later. Peace.